Hello my friends, it's finally spring. It's the 7th of September 2021 and the first day of spring here in Australia was the 1st of September. So yeah, we're a few days into spring and I just thought I'd give you a look around the garden. Things haven't really come to life yet. Things got really knocked around by winter. Just want to show you how sad my papaya look. Maybe I can cut in, give you a quick glance of how they look before spring. Hi my friends, I'm just giving you an update on for late autumn on how my papayas and everything else is going in my garden. It's the 14th of May 2021, and if you remember my last update, these papayas have grown quite a bit. They're only just poking over the fence 3 months ago. They did all this growth in only 2 months, but 3 months has passed now. It got quite cold after 2 months and the growth basically just ground to a halt. So yeah, did all that growth in 2 months, and this last month they've hardly done anything. But yeah, as you can see, they've come along quite well. That last update I showed you how I gave them a good top dressing of dynamic lifter, and they love that stuff. That just really kicks things along. So that'll give you an idea how well that dynamic lifter works. Yeah, now they're quite sad. Yeah, I really feel for my papaya this time of year. But it shouldn't be long now, they'll come to life now. And we're still getting some cold nights actually. We had some spring weather in August, which was really unusual, and we had that last year too. We had a couple of weeks of nice spring weather and it was still winter. But now it's spring, it's gone back to feeling like winter again, if you know what I mean. We've had another cold snap. We're having some cold nights. And yeah, everything's just really sad this time of year. Oh yeah, here's my custard apple. It's sad too. It's got a lot of yellowing leaves. You can see there. Yeah, and it probably won't lose any more leaves now, or not too many more. They should start coming good again. But I'm going to remove all those leaves soon. I discovered on a Vietnamese Facebook page, growing gardening group, and they're really wise gardeners. They really have a lot of good information to share, and they really love their custard apples. They're really big on all their different custard apples, or attas as they call them in the Philippines, and they remove all the leaves at the end of winter, and I've been doing the same the last 2 years. So very soon I'll be cutting all these leaves off, because the whole plant's just sort of sad, and those yellow leaves, they're not going to do anything, and it just kind of slows the tree down. So I find, yeah, it is best to just remove all the leaves. Be very soon, as soon as it warms up a little bit more, another couple of weeks, and then I just let it re-sprout, and then it'll re-sprout lots of nice healthy leaves as the weather gets better. Yeah, so that's the custard apple covered. And yeah, these papayas, I just gave them a spray the other day actually, because the fruit spotting bug had hit them. And was, you know, the fruit spotting bug is just about to start breeding up. Now it's warming up again. Like yeah, we had that warm weather in August, and so I should be on top of that now. That may look sad to you, but it looks better already actually since I sprayed. Yeah, see these yellow leaves here, you get a lot of that in winter on my papayas. They drop a lot of leaves. You can see there, I don't know, I hope you can see there, I can't, but hopefully you can. I can't see too well on my monitor, but see there's a black spot there, I think that is that black spot fungus. See here I've got 2 fruit that come on over winter on this one, but even they've got a bit of a black spot on them, but they should grow out of that now. Yeah, and more fruit coming on that papaya there, and the rest of these shouldn't be far behind. They should start putting out fruit very soon, I think, as soon as it warms up a bit. But I gave them that spray and that's helped them a lot, because they get about maybe at least 4 different diseases in winter, and so I gave them the permethrin with some liquid copper and sea salt. So, and that's really brightened them up already. And I've pulled off any dead leaves. But yeah, there's a couple more dead leaves already now. But yeah, I just recently pulled all the dead leaves off my papaya. There's my Hawaiian gold, look at that, hey? Look how sad that is. That had such a big crown of leaves before winter, but that's usually what happens. And you can see one dead leaf there again. I guess there's going to be a few more leaves dying, but it's just about over now. Now as soon as the weather starts warming up, it'll start throwing out more leaves. And yeah, I've sprayed up there too. I sprayed everything with the permethrin, with the copper and the sea salt. And yeah, believe it or not, everything looks better already. See, and there's my last, I think there's about 3 fruit left to be picked. They'll come off very soon. As soon as it warms up again, they'll ripen up very quick. But yeah, even though it's so sad looking, that tree has fed me really well over winter, as it always does. I've pulled off 2 or 3 papaya every week all through winter. It's just fantastic. Yeah, and that's the last 3 to come off. And then I won't get many more fruit then until next almost autumn. It's starting to set more fruit already, and yeah, and over summer it'll just be flat out setting lots of fruit. It'll have a nice big head of fruit again, and I'll be picking them off probably starting late summer, early autumn, and then all through winter again. So even these are going to be, it's hard to say what they'll do. That's a new branch that came out, and I really should brace that because I'm worried the flying foxes will snap that off. But you know, perhaps a couple of those fruit might ripen by summer. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes, but it always tends to be late, the fruit. It sets over spring and summer, and I pick in autumn, winter, which is really nice. And then yeah, with these dwarf ties, I'm starting to pick them already. There's some around the back that are coming on already. So I'll be picking them spring, summer. Oh yeah, and I thought I'd show you, see how much this, see they were just growing in straw bales. And see how much those straw bales have rotted down now. It's quite a lot, hey, and the roots are exposed. But they don't seem to mind that. Very exposed there, isn't it? But very soon, that'll be one of the other jobs I'll be doing, is I'll be adding some more straw bale on top of those roots. and it doesn't hurt to have a little bit exposed actually. But I'll be packing up. I'll put at least another bale in there, mostly just to cover those roots again, and then add some dynamic lifter, and they'll be ready for spring, summer. Then they'll be ready to start growing. Now, it should happen very soon. The growth will start again. But yeah, they've done nothing over winter. They've just dropped leaves and had a real hard time, the poor things. See, winter here in southeast Queensland, it's almost too cold for papaya, and it's almost cruel. But it's still worth it. I still get a lot of fruit, but yeah, it's almost cruel on the poor things because they have a terrible time over winter. And this was a terrible winter. Oh geez, it was like the coldest winter I could remember in 20 years. And it was really hard on my breathing. I really struggled. I nearly died a couple of times actually. It's just too hard on my breathing. And the cold holds the pollution down low to the ground. So the air, the air used to be really clean here in winter when I was a young boy 40 years ago. But especially on this busy road, the air is filthy here in winter, and there's no sea breezes, so I'm just suffocating. But yeah, now finally I can breathe again. The air's got better. We're getting some, I think right now we're getting some, we were getting westerlies again this morning, but I think it's starting to swing around a nor'easter. The nor'easters are just beautiful here. They're coming off the ocean. But yeah, that's the dragon fruit. It's hardly changed, it's so tough. It's kind of yellowed off a bit, but you can see it's even put out a lot of new growth there. The dragon fruit's really tough, it's gone well. I've got my cutting up there. That's my marcotte cutting that I took off my Hawaiian gold papaya. It's still hanging in. It gets a lot of sun there now, so it didn't do too bad over winter. Lost a few leaves, but I've sprayed that too now. I've hit that with the copper, permethrin and the sea salt. And the moment I did it, it responded and started throwing out some flowers. So that should be fruiting soon. That papaya, setting fruit soon. Yeah, I better try and speed it up a bit or it'll take forever, won't I? It's my garden here. It served me well over winter. I've hit it hard. I've picked it hard over winter. This Ceylon spinach looks raggedy, but I got a lot of leaves off it. It didn't grow as well as I was hoping, but I just needed food, so I had to hit it hard. Yeah, I've had a lot of celery, and in there I've got all those seedlings. I've got parsley seedlings and rocket seedlings. I just raised some seed underneath the vegetables. And as these other veggies die out, they'll start taking over actually, getting quite big. I got a lot of sweet basil this time. It's the best sweet basil I've grown in a long time actually. What's that stuff? Oh, it's so good in a salad. I just love it in a salad actually. For me it just makes a salad so delicious. Mint is good in a salad too. I've got a bit of mint there, but yeah, the more I eat sweet basil, the more I love it. And it just makes a salad so tasty. And I've had salads where, a third of the greens in that salad is sweet basil. And it's just like yum. So good. Yeah, the kale there. See, it doesn't get much light, this spot. It's very low light, as I told you before. See, it's underneath the patio, and it just gets that little bit of sunlight in through there. But it's still a good productive little garden actually. It's better than having nothing there. It's a good productive little spot. And yeah, it's fed me well. It's fed me quite well considering it's such a shady garden. Oh yeah, I've got I was hoping this would happen. That's that Pitanga, Suriname cherry. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it quite right. That's some seeds I picked at the end of winter. And yeah, that's the first one. There's about 4 seeds in there. That's the first one that's come up as soon as the weather warmed up a little bit. Well, that's the pomelo, and that's one of my smallest pomelos, still barely alive. It did have those galls on it, so I chopped the gall back. That's some more of my smaller pomelos in better health. They tend to, the cold weather doesn't bother them much. They can deal with that. There's a couple of my seedlings of the KJ Pink's Custard Apple. Got 2 seedlings there. Yeah, they have a hard time. I've got one there that's just all stalk. I don't know if you can see that, gee, because I can't see what's going on. There we go. Yeah. I'm hoping that's going to reshoot, but they could even die. Actually, it still feels green now that I touch the stem. But yeah, it's dropped all of its leaves. And being so young, they sometimes die when that happens. Fingers crossed it'll reshoot. And these 2, that's looking really sad, isn't it? That's just what winter does to them. But hopefully those 2 will get through it. What else? Oh yeah, that's that nodding violet. It's a nice plant to have. It's always got a purple flower. Oh yeah, I've got strawberries up there struggling. Yeah, you can just see them in there. Other house plants. Yeah, that's that papaya that just came up from seed. It's sort of just lucky it's growing in the right spot. My car is usually parked right up against it. But yeah, with some luck that's going to do okay one day. Oh yeah, this is a sad story. This is that papaya that, it had a hard life, that poor papaya. And it just didn't make it through winter. So I'll cut in and just show you that I had a real nice head of fruit on that. Well, it got savage last winter. I got some nice big fruit off it last winter. But it still got savaged by fruit spotting bug and the flying foxes. But I managed to get it into good health over summer, put out a lot of fruit, and then a damn flying fox snapped the top clean off it. And I'll cut in and show you that. So I've got a lot to show you. Yeah, this was one of my more promising papayas, my Thai dwarfs. I got a couple of nice big fruit off it last year. But it got hammered by the fruit spotting bug last year, sort of late winter, early spring. And then also the flying foxes really hammered it too and really knocked it around and knocked leaves off it. But it came back really good over. It was looking nice until just recently. See here now, and that whole top has been snapped off. See, and it was putting out fruit. How many fruits there? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fruit were forming on this, forming quite well. And it was a flying fox in the middle of the night, I think because I chopped my ice cream bean tree down, the big ice cream bean tree, and they're a bit desperate for food. So I've never seen this happen before, but the flying foxes are hammering my papayas, not just eating fruit that's virtually green, but they're sucking on the flowers. I've never seen them do that before. They must be just desperate for food. And they're so rough, they just don't give a damn. So these flying foxes have been sucking on the flowers, the papaya flowers, and they've just snapped that top clean off. It's just so disappointing. And it'll come back, but that's the end of it now for another season. No more fruit will be coming on that until, you know, it's months away, 8 months away. Aww. So yeah, the poor thing, it was just a bare trunk over winter. And it's not a good spot here for winter. So the poor thing had no leaves on it for winter, and it died. I've lost it. So yeah, that had an ill-fated life, that papaya, that dwarf Thai papaya. It's sad actually. But yeah, there's 2 babies coming up, so let's see, maybe they'll take over. Yeah, there's another look at my papaya on that edge there. And this one has grown very well. This one, luckily, it got a nice lot of sun. Let's see, hardly any leaves on it. Just so bare of leaves. But look at the fruit, it's got some nice fruit coming on. I've already pulled 1 big fruit off this. And this is that vine that's just, look at it, it's just going rampant. Madeira vine coming up from the neighbours. Remember I was saying it's edible, the leaves are edible, the roots are edible. But it's a real pest. I've got to try and kill that off a bit. It was starting to try to strangle this, but I've chopped it back. But yeah, here comes my second fruit. It's starting to ripen up. I'll bag that soon. Maybe even today I'll put that in a bag. Because I've got to really watch those flying foxes. They've been attacking my Hawaiian gold the moment they get colour. The fruit over winter. So I've had to pick the Hawaiian gold the moment they have that much colour. Otherwise the flying fox will get them. But this is low enough, so I should be able to bag that. And it'll ripen up on the tree, which is the ideal. But yeah, they got that's quite amazing actually. It's quite big, heavy fruit for such a small plant, for such a small papaya. But it's been fairly happy there. It's got a lot of full sun over winter, which is the ideal. Yeah, when it's cold, that's when they really need that full sun. My papaya tend to get shade in summer, but they can survive that. But they really need that sun in winter to get them through the cold. Okay, I just had a break to get my breath back, and also I moved the car inside just to give you an idea. That's the magic of camera. Now, that's where I have the car parked, but that's how it usually is, with the garage door down and the car parked just here. And as you can see, that's where the papaya is. It just goes right beside the bull bar there. That's that one that raised by it, that just sprouted up wild by seed. So, by the end of Well, as we come into summer, hopefully that's going to get up above the bull bar and it will get even more sun. It's tended to be shaded from a lot of sun there when it was down lower on the car, but now as it gets higher it's going to get more sun, and hopefully, well, let's just see, hopefully it's going to do okay. Yeah, and that's how those papaya are. It's just a very tight edge for them, isn't it? Just yeah, it's going to be a very productive use of virtually no space. There's virtually no room in there, and yet, fingers crossed, I'll be getting a bit of fruit out of that, from that edge. Yeah, and again, so sad to lose that papaya. And this is another one. This one's had a sad life. It's really struggled. Hopefully if I can clear back this Madeira vine, that might do something this spring and summer. It's sort of just getting tall enough now to hopefully poke over the fence. It's spent 2 seasons now. It's gone through 2 winters, virtually in full shade over winter. So, you know, it's a survivor. It's trying to hang on. Poor thing. But yeah, that one's done well. I'm happy with that one. And hopefully that's just the beginning. Hopefully there'll be a few more good years in that, with some nice big fruit. And the fruit off that is really delicious. I picked that, the mother that I picked out of that, well, I got this seed from Thailand. I've told you a bit about it before, and there was a lot of variation in the plants, unfortunately. But this variety, this was one that I thought just tasted much better than the others. And it didn't bear as heavy as some. So I did have some papayas that bore more fruit, but this was the best tasting. So I sprouted a few of these. And I'm glad I did now, because I'm eating a few and they are very delicious. Very nice, sweet, dark red fruit. Yeah, and this is my Pomelos. They've come along quite nicely considering it's winter. They get a fair bit of winter sun in here. And yeah, as you remember before, well, in autumn I separated all these. They were growing 3 or 4 to a pot, just raised from seed. But I've separated them all now. And I think they've gone quite well for winter. The cold doesn't set them back much at all. And you know, I know I could grow them better if I had them in full sun and regular water, but I tend to water them every 2nd or 3rd day in this spot. And yeah, you remember on my gall video, I cut the galls off them. They had citrus gall from that citrus gall wasp. And they've hardly looked back now. They're quite happy, and I gave them some permethrin. And this thing almost died, but it's put out leaves again. Again, I'm still wondering if that's persimmon. I'm just not sure. Because we got that there, that is definitely a KJ Pink's custard apple. I planted a lot of KJ Pink seeds here a while back, but I also had about 4 persimmon seeds, and this thing has always looked different, so maybe it's persimmon. We'll see, time will tell. In these pots I planted a lot of KJ Pink seeds. There's one coming to the surface there actually. They shouldn't be doing that, it needs to be down deeper. I don't know what they're going to do though. They did nothing over winter. And that poor old thing's my mammy Sapote. Yeah, it's more tropical. That's a really nice fruit apparently that I'd love to try. And that's its second winter now. It's survived just barely. It's dropped most of its leaves, but it should be fine now, as long as the weather keeps warming up as it should. So it's just made it, and should grow at least another foot over spring and summer. I'm hoping more, but it's not a quick, fast-growing plant, I'm finding. And apparently they can just make it here in southeast Queensland. So maybe in a couple of years I'll put it in the ground. Yes, I'm quite happy with that. My red Pomelos seedlings, they're doing quite alright. Now what's next? Oh yeah, the Hawaiian Gold. It's fed me well. The Hawaiian Gold Papaya. And in here's my Soursop seedlings that I'm really hoping to plant this spring. They've hung on well. They don't like this cold either, but they seem to, this spot, there's not much breeze. They don't even like a cold draft. So there's not even any cold drafts in here really. And that they don't get much sun. They aren't tough, I find. They're tough, but they stop growing in winter. They haven't grown at all. And I gave them the permethrin and copper and sea salt the other day. They're looking better already. But yeah, they've held on quite well. Quite happy with that. And that's a couple of little native silky oak trees. Huge big brevilla, that tree. The biggest of all the brevillas. That's it up there actually. Too big to be in the suburbs really. But beautiful tree with the beautiful orange flowers. Lots of nectar. You can eat the nectar out of the flowers. It's delicious. And all the nectar eating birds, the lorikeets and that, they love it. I think there's a couple of lorikeets up there right now actually. Sort of waiting in anticipation, because the flowers will be out. I think within a month that'll be covered in flowers, in orange flowers, that tree. And it'll look beautiful. Hopefully feed the local population if the flying foxes don't get too carried away like they did last year. Yeah, so that's my mammies. I don't know if I got the 8, I think. I really do hope I can plant them this year. They need to be in the ground. They are at least 2 years old now. I've kind of lost track. But apparently they can start fruiting at 3 years. So if I can just get them in the ground, they could be giving me food very soon. And we got the Ladyfingered Banana. My first bunch of Ladyfingered Bananas. Trying to come on over winter. Struggling, but hopefully that banana borer weevil in the soil really gave these bananas a hard time. And even this tree, it's kind of, it almost wants to die, I can see. They got my, as soon as I hit it with the permethrin, I watered that soil with permethrin to kill the banana borer weevil. If I didn't do that, I would have lost these trees. They were dying. Now that one's in pretty good health. That'll be putting out fruit soon. And yeah, they've got little suckers. As soon as again, the permethrin, water with the permethrin, up come the suckers. But they were close to death. They really were. That banana borer weevil just kills bananas. Just eats all their roots and fills the butts up with holes. And I've just noticed this here, there's another sucker. It's died. So that's a bad sign. There must be more banana boll weevil in that soil. And that's why this banana's looking so sad. And I was hoping, I didn't really want to water this plant with permethrin while this fruit was coming on. But just because it looks so sad, and especially because I've seen this sucker die, I think I'm going to have to do it anyway. I'm thinking if I don't do it, I won't get this fruit. This fruit could die before it finishes setting, because it's still got a fair way to go. So that's probably going to be on my list of things to do this spring, is water these bananas again with permethrin. And oh yeah, this is the daughter, one of the daughters of my Hawaiian Gold. Remember, I did a taste test of this. There's one fruit there that's ready to take off. I've had it bagged for about 2 weeks now, so I'll take that bag off and give you a look now. Oh yeah, I just noticed one of my reds. It's just dropped a bag. I had one of these reds bagged as well, and it's just fallen on the ground just there. So I'll give you a look at that too. Hopefully they haven't been in the bag for too long. Again, that's the really delicious papaya. That's a really nice tasting papaya. I found not a heavy bearer, but hopefully it might do okay. They're putting out more fruit. And that one there, that one's doing okay, isn't it? That was a seed from my heavy bearing papaya. But again, there's so much variation in the seed. See, I haven't seen papaya shaped like that yet. I've been growing that seed for a few years now, and that's the first time I've seen that shaped papaya. But at least it's quite a heavy crop of fruit there, isn't it? So that's nice. That's going to be really good. But yeah, there's just too much variation in my dwarf Thai seed that I got from Thailand. That's my best tree out of a bunch that I planted last year. There's still a couple more that are yet to bear. Not sure what they're going to do. Hopefully they'll be okay. But yeah, that one's a beauty. But yeah, there's just too many that don't perform. You sort of, you know, there's too much variation. And that's why down here, remember all my seedlings I had? I started, these will still survive, and they'll still, even as sad as they look, I haven't even been watering them lately. But yeah, they're too pot bound, for one thing. If I did plant them in the ground, they could do alright, but I don't want them anymore now, I've decided. Because there's just too much variation in this seed. And I've been pulling them out now and getting ready. All these are all going to get dumped soon. So you can see there's a fair few I've dumped just in here. There's quite a few stems. I've dumped about half of them already. Just pulled them out of the pots and just thrown them in that trench. I just don't want them now, because I've found a better seed supplier. found this guy. I'll give you a video on that soon too, actually. I think he is potentially the best papaya seed supplier in Australia, and he's got just amazing strains, mostly all from Thailand. I'm assuming Sandnes Farms. You find them on eBay. I'll give you a video on it soon, actually. And he's the expert. He's the papaya expert. And I've bought 30 seeds that are 98% guaranteed to be true to type. So that's where he really sold me. It's a really good seed. He says it's his best tasting and sweetest red papaya. And he just seems, I've been reading him and following him for a while, and I really think he's the expert. He really knows what he's talking about. And he guarantees purity. So he's won me. And all these, I'm not going to bother with these. So yeah, I'm going to be pulling all these out and just putting the pots aside. I'm doing this, saving the pots. And getting ready, and I'll be planting 30 of these seeds. And even that could be too much with my health. But that'll be my goal this summer, to plant 30 of these new dwarf Thais. It's another dwarf Thai, but no variation. Hopefully there'll be no variation in the seed at all. There'll be some good, some bad sort of thing. With this variety, I get some round, I get some long. There's just too much variety, too much variation in the seed. And you know, it's better than a kick in the pants. I'm getting some fruit, but I don't have that much space here, so I want to make every bit of space, use it to my advantage. Yeah, and I cleared there a bit. Oh, it's so much hard work, and what's left has grown even thicker. I've got to try and pull all that out. It's really difficult for me. Once I could do it in half an hour, and now it just takes weeks. I'm so slow, and I really want to clear there because I've got an avocado in there. That avocado did show its head there at one stage too, a few months ago, but it's disappeared again. Hopefully it's hanging on and it's still alive, but if I don't clear that stuff soon, it'll die. It'll die for sure, because it's just too thick for it. It really needs some sunlight, and it's really got to be opened out. Oh yeah, and this papaya, yeah, I'll give you a look at this in a moment. Remember I patched this hole up? I'll do some research. I found out some more about this. This is another fungus that affects the base of papayas. It's called a foot fungus or something like that. Apparently it's a spore that gets in the soil. And even though it's amazing this tree's hung on as long as it has, but its days are definitely numbered. It's not going to last. I don't think it's going to grow out of it, from what I've been reading up on this fungus now. Even though I put that paste on it. Remember I cleaned that wound back, and I put a dolomite and copper and a bit of maxi-crop, made a paste and pasted that wound up. And I think it's helped a lot. It's helped it hang on, but it's just not going to make it. And to be honest, I don't care, because remember I tasted that fruit. I had a big fruit I picked just a few weeks into winter. And it's just not sweet enough. Even though that tree's bearing well, it's not sweet enough. Wow, look at that, huh? How's that for a nice looking fruit? Wow, bloody nice, if you ask me. I'm looking forward to trying that. Oh, that's perfect. I think it's time to pick it. I'll be picking it now. Maybe I'll just leave it on the shelf for a day or two. Oh, I'm proud of that. Oh, pin up. I should take a poster and hang it up on the wall. I can do this. There we go. Whew. What a beauty. What a nice fruit. It's heavy. It's heavy. Gorgeous. Gorgeous big fruit. A bit disappointing, to be honest. I'm a little bit disappointed. Aww. I will eat these and I will enjoy these. Yeah, that one's not so bad. I will enjoy these, but the flavour is why I prefer red papayas. It's just not sweet enough, you know?
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
The thumbs down. It gets a thumbs down. And again, I don't have enough space. So even if this tree doesn't die, I'll keep it alive as long as I can to get that fruit. But even if this tree does keep living, I'm chopping it out. But it probably won't. Its days are numbered. One day it will fall, and it may not even finish setting that fruit. But yeah, I'll see if I can pick this with the camera's still rolling. Maybe I can't. Or can I? It is a bit too high, actually. I need to get down on the bucket. There we go. Ah, got it. Okay. Well, I'll give you a look at it. It should be fairly ripe. See if I can do this with one hand. Nearly ready to eat. Oh, and also that papaya, I'm almost sure there's going to be two different types of fruit on the one tree. Would you believe it? Because there's two different shaped fruits on the one tree. And that tree is my daughter of the Hawaiian Gold. But yeah, it's crossed. Something's crossed into it. I'm pretty sure it's the flying foxes that have done it. The flying foxes have crossed it with some mongrel papaya growing in the area. There we go, that looks pretty nice. Okay, that's not bad, hey? Looks good. That's the fruit spotting bug again, but hopefully I'm on top of those now. I've sprayed, but yeah, usually that doesn't affect the fruit too much. And there we go, eh? So I'm getting in some sunlight for you. Quite a nice fruit. But I think, well, it's hard to say. Anyway, I better switch off and get my breath back. Anyway, got my breath back, but I'm breathing okay, aren't I? I'm breathing a lot better than I was this time last year. I think I am anyway. So, but yeah, I got a feeling that fruit is going to taste better than the first one. The one I did the taste test on. Because it's slightly different shaped. At the top there is a little thinner than down the bottom. Whereas the other one was a lot sort of more football shaped. So, but it'll be much of a muchness. It's still, I think even this one is still not going to quite be up to standard. The standard that I want anyway, you know. Because if I'm here growing trees, I don't want fruit that I don't like so much. I want to grow the good fruit. I don't have that much space, so... But I'll still eat that and I'll still enjoy it. It'll still be okay. Yeah, it's almost ready to eat actually. It's so close now. That's great. Ripened on the tree. And the warmer weather will bring out the sugars. Will make them sweeter. But yeah, this tree, like you'll see, it's hard to see there. But those two big fruit, they'll be the next ones to ripen up. Especially the one to the left. There's a lot of variation in the shape. So I've got a feeling this tree is going to give me two different tasting fruits. I'm nearly certain actually. Some fruits are going to be okay and maybe even quite nice. And other fruits will be too bitter. But yeah, it's going to go. This tree's going to go, and I'm going to plant one of these new ones. So I've got the seeds already from the Sandnaz Farms. I've got 30 seeds, so one of the new seeds, see actually there's a male there. It got that stem rot as well. It's completely gone now. I didn't patch up the wound on that male. And this one here is another one of the daughters of the Hawaiian Gold that I've raised from seed. See, and that would have been a good tree if it wasn't for the fruit spotting bug. It's just been hit by the fruit spotting bug too often at the wrong times. And it's in trouble, even though they tend to be a tough strain. And I could save it, but nah, I'm going to chop it out. I don't want it. I think that Madeira vine growing up there in all that tree, I think that raises the fruit spotting bug thrive in it. And I think that papaya is so close to the Madeira vine, it just got attacked more than the others by the fruit spotting bug. But yeah, maybe you can see, I'll show you, I've got another female of the daughter. See up through there. That's another daughter of the Hawaiian Gold. And I just ate my first fruit off that. Oh, I'm getting out of breath again. I just ate my first fruit out of that a couple of weeks ago, and it was good. It was a big fruit and it was good. So that tree can stay. I'm going to keep that one. And it's in good health, it's got no problems yet. So hopefully that could turn into a good tree. And yeah, big fruit, and a nice big fruit. Again, it's not the same as the Hawaiian Gold. It's crossed in a little with something else. But it's nice, the flavour's acceptable. It gives you memories of the Hawaiian Gold. It's got memories of that sweet, creamy, what a good Hawaiian Gold. Oh, you know, I don't know if you know, they say with COPD, it's when we bend over we get really out of breath. So I just stoop down to send. And I'm so out of breath I've got to stop again. Okay, back again. Yeah, it's really weird that. I mentioned it to the doctors even. I get really out of breath when I bend over or crouch down. And they say, oh yeah, apparently that happens all the time with COPD. But it's hard to understand why. But yeah, it's annoying. But anyway, yeah, these two papaya here, these are my, again, very sweet and delicious papaya, these. Very sweet and delicious red. And here's another one that I've had bagged up, and I just noticed, I saw it yesterday, it was still hanging on the tree. but it's dropped off today. See, and actually this one is just getting some colour in it. I'll probably bag that one up soon, today or tomorrow. So yeah, this one's ready to come out. I already untied it, so you don't have to watch me struggling to... I'll just give you a look at what it's... There we go. That's nice too, hey? It's small, but it's ready to eat. Nice colour. Nice red colour in it. That's ready to eat right now, actually. Yum. It should be delicious. It should be very good. You can see it's damp, it's been sweating in that bag. But it's good. Tree ripened. Yeah, nice. I'm getting it, they're starting to come on. I'm going to be eating okay. From these trees this spring. Yeah, and that one, that's my best again. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. It's gone well. If only they all did that. And these two, well those four actually, are all from a slightly different strain. The parent, I felt the parent didn't taste quite as good, but it was a really heavy bearer. It was a really heavy bearing plant. So these are yet to do anything. I'm hoping they'll be okay though. Hopefully this spring, summer they'll be setting fruit. And this one's done brilliantly. That's just wonderful. And this one's tough. But I've got two now. These are my first. Remember I said in another video, it's very male. It's the first I've seen of these. Out of years of planting this strain, I've never seen a male. Not one. That's one good thing. There's been all different shapes and sizes of flavours of fruit, but they've all been a math, self-pollinating, no males, which is really interesting. Until now I got this thing, it's very male, and I've been thinking the last couple of months, this one and another one, I've been constantly thinking I'm going to chop them out. I don't want them. I don't want them. But suddenly they've done something to save themselves. Both of them, they've put out a fruit. So there you go. So they've saved themselves. It's funny how some people say that can happen, you know. That those trees, you know, I've been thinking I'm going to cut them down. And they've sensed it. They've sensed that their end is near. Some people would say that, especially gardeners. And suddenly over winter it's put out a fruit. So it's saved itself, it's staying now. And I'll just see how it goes, but it's going to have to bear a bit of fruit. So I'm telling you now, plant, you better, more fruit or you got to go. You're a nice healthy tree. It's one of the more healthy trees. I was tossing up even grafting, doing a graft on it. But again, now that I've got these new seeds, you know, I'm going to have 30, hopefully 28 or 30 nice papayas of a really good strain. So I'm going to be struggling to find the space for them. So if this doesn't perform, it could get replaced. And yeah, that one was a bit ill-fated. I was cutting back the branches here and accidentally chopped the top off that myself. But it's come back. And that's the same strain as these two again, actually. It's a very delicious fruit. But again, maybe because it's so small and struggling. See, and there's that one, that a struggling daughter of Hawaiian gold. and I've got a bit of space in there. I'm thinking, you know, again, I'm going to have 30 of these nice papayas. Maybe I'll put 3 of these new ones in there. Maybe I'll chop both of those out and stick 3 in along there. Chop that big daughter with a bit of fruit. Just not sweet enough. Well, that's more than likely. That's doomed anyway. That's more than likely not going to survive that trunk damage. So I'll probably replace that one too with one of these new seedlings. And they say it's not good. They say when you grow papayas, when you stop at the end of their season, but that's after like 10 years, you know. You should give it a couple of years, let the ground go fallow for a couple of years. Don't grow any more papaya for a while. But I'm just going to plant straight in. It's been a few years, and I'll just mulch it. I'll just add the straw. I'll hardly even dig the soil. I'll just add straw and plant directly in the straw bale again. Add straw on top. So yeah, there's room for 5 of these new papayas in here. It's called Red Dragon, actually, these new seeds I've bought. Red Dragon Dwarf Ties. The bear fruit, or they start setting fruit in 4 months. So it just sounds amazing. But I'll give you a separate video on that because it deserves it. I've bought what I think will be an amazing strain of 30 seeds. Okay, well, this is taking longer than I thought, and my battery's getting low, so I'm going to show you the last little patch of papayas I got here. Oh yeah, that's the black Sapote. It's hung on over winter. I don't know if you remember, I managed to clear in there a little bit, but a lot more clearing needs to be done. That's another pitanga. I think they call it the pitanga. Delicious fruit. That could start bearing fruit soon if I look after it. Yeah, and the black Sapote there, still getting strangled a bit by the Madeira vine, but it's getting a bit of size about it. If I can keep everything cleared back. I cleared this a bit too. And you remember the ice cream bean's gone, the contractors took that out. There's a lot of space in there for trees, but it's just getting away on me. It's getting quite overgrown and weedy in there. I want to plant my big advanced custard apple in there, and all my soursops. There's a big long, quite a big area in there. I'd like to put all my new papayas in there too. Put 20 or so in there. But anyway, yeah, this is my other patch now. It's again, I've got a few fruit there. That one's not doing too bad. A few fruit there. But see, look at the different shapes. It's just too much. These are all the dwarf ties again. Just too much variation, I find. And there's my big daughter. That's doing well. Another fruit coming on soon there, I can see. Just starting to yellow a little. But yeah, that tree can stay, I think, because the fruit was quite good. I picked a big fruit off that a couple of weeks ago. Big. Like it's 3 times bigger than that one there. It was a real big meal actually, and it was very nice. Well, it was quite good. Not as good as my Hawaiian Gold, but close. You know, I got these, and this one. This one was another male. Very, very male. This is the second one that was the most male of this strain I've ever seen. And I was thinking of cutting this one down too, and suddenly it's put out of fruit and saved itself. You can't see many flowers like this time, it's dropped. Had a lot of flowers on it before winter set. And, the cold has dropped all those flowers, but who knows, fingers crossed it's going to give me a bit of fruit. There's a bit of fruit there. Another soursop. This was the first soursop I put in the ground. I'm surprised, because actually remember there was a big branch, an ice cream bean, a younger ice cream bean, just leaned right over into this area, and I've only just pulled it out, but it just shaded everything out, and these papayas at the back there did not like it. It was just too shady over winter, and they've hardly grown at all. It's only these ones at the front here have grown. Well, even that one was too shaded out, that's why it's so sad looking. But that one's doing better, and these two have done okay. Well, these three, don't know if you can see very well. Here's a better look maybe. You see on that first raised mound, those papayas have done quite well, they've got plenty of sun. But just in here, yeah, there was a big ice cream bean branch that just shaded them out too much over winter. And they're alive, they should come back, but it's really slowed the growth back. It kept them small. Hopefully that papaya is going to come out alright. Yeah, and this one's doing quite well. It's been up high enough to get the sun. This daughter of wine gold. And again, yeah, the fruit's shaped a bit differently, and it's come out okay. It tastes okay. So it can stay. A couple of Ladyfingered Bananas again. Probably would prefer to get another soaking of permethrin in the soil around them to kill the banana weevil borer, banana borer weevil. This damn stuff again too. The Madeira vine is strangling that Ladyfinger banana, unfortunately. Yeah, there's still a lot of it in there. Actually here you can see my mango. I managed to cut it back. Trying to be. See the mango there trying to survive. Again, it's just that Madeira vine so rampant. See the trunk of it there? If I can just spend the time there, well, at my speed it takes hours and hours and hours. But if I can just clear everything back around that mango, that could be quite a nice little mango tree actually. Because it's quite established, it's got a fair bit of age about it. But it's just always growing underneath that Madeira vine. Getting strangled. I need to chop that back some more. Yeah, you see in there, that's the ice cream beans coming back up again from the base of the trunk. I've really got to get in there. I've even been thinking of getting a machine in there to help me. It might be the only way soon, because I work so slow. Maybe the only way I'm going to be able to tame in there. So we've got the main trees out, but there's just too much weed in there now. Mostly Madeira vine. And maybe the only way to get on top of it is get a small machine in. And I can't really afford that. I'd rather do it by hand if I can, save money. And I've got a lot of this stuff. I might even be able to sell this, so I'm going to have a try. This is the Macaranga. It's a native tree. Where are we? Up there, you see. There's a bigger one. It's quite dry at the moment, so it's hard to see it properly. But it's potentially a very good tree for agroforestry. So I might have a try at selling that, because I got stacks of them, and they're really tough. Hey, a bit of mint there, that's amazing. This is one of the few spots where my mint has kept living. Normally people say, well, normally with mint, when you plant a bit, it's just there forever. But around here with grubs, I find I can never keep mint alive. The grubs usually nearly always win. But this spot, I'm starting to get a regular supply of mint. So that's very nice. Yeah, another soursop there. They were getting too shaded in summer. That soursop and that soursop last summer, but now, after that big branch came over here and sort of killed off these papaya a bit, they're getting good sun and looking good again. So maybe they could bear me some fruit in another year or so. It's just interesting. When I first planted them, I thought that's a good spot. Then the papaya grew too fast, and I thought, oh no, it's not a good spot. Papaya's shading them out. And then over winter, the papaya slowed down, and they're looking good, looking hopeful again. So it's just funny how that works. So it still could be okay for them yet. Oh yeah, that's the first I've seen of that. That's a disease. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that. First time I've seen that on any fruit around here. Not a good sign. Again, brought on by the winter. I've already hit that with permethrin and copper. Maybe it'll get out of it. It'll grow out of it in summer as things warm up. Yeah, so hey, this thing was a male daughter of the Hawaiian Gold. So it's pretty much dead now, I think, so that doesn't matter, it's just a male. Hopefully that one will come back. That was a good strain. Yeah, and you see there's the last little ice cream bean. It's a younger ice cream bean. It's almost as if it had a brain. Well, it's just the way the rainforest works, actually. Because it used to be sitting up tall. It's only young, but it was, it's 30 foot tall still. Sapling. And a huge branch just came in here. It leaned down. It decided to lean down and catch all the sun. Just stole the sun from this spot. Quite amazing how that happens. And I had to cut it out, and it was quite a job for me to cut that branch out and let the sun get back in here again. Oh yeah, I do want to show you this. Now I'll just get my breath. Yeah, see this here, this is a young ice cream bean, and that's where you see plant intelligence, a classic example of it. There was a young ice cream bean that has just thrown all these branches out. Now that the big ice cream bean that was out this way has been cut down, it's just suddenly seen an opportunity for light, to get extra light, for growth, and it's just, well, it's thrown branches out, but it might have even leaned over as well. But it's just stolen this area off my papayas. It's just amazing. That's happened in just a few months. There was no trees growing above these papaya only 3 months ago, and now suddenly look at all this ice cream bean growth. But it's just growing totally on top of almost all my papayas. Just stolen all the light. It's just amazing. Now it's done that just so quickly. It's just seen an opportunity and it's just sent its branches out here, and perhaps it's leaned over as well and just taken everything. Just taken the whole spot. So I've got to chop that out really soon. Like, these papayas aren't going to like that at all. They're just not getting any sun at all, hardly. That ice cream bean is just completely taken over. Well, that Hawaiian gold is still getting plenty of light, but not much else, you know. Nearly everything else has been shaded out. Okay. Well, I can hardly see a thing looking at this little viewfinder, so I hope you can see something. But I guess you've had a pretty good look at things here, hopefully. That's the black sapote again, just in there. Oh yeah, I've got a mango here too. Not a mango, a mulberry. Yeah, just there. It's again, it's always getting strangled by the Madeira vine, but it'll bear. It wants to bear a lot of fruit, that mulberry, and it's just come up wild by seed from birds. But it's a good mulberry. It's a good strain. You know, I can just keep all this rubbish, all this Madeira vine back this summer. Because even as small as it is, I get quite a bit of fruit off that. So yeah, the bigger it gets, the more fruit I'm going to get, of course. And there's the black sapote. Again, hopefully I'll be able to keep on this a bit better this year. Take better care of that sapote and that mulberry. Okay, well, I've shown you just about everything here now. Remember, I had the Veggie Garden here last winter. Had a very productive Veggie Garden. But it's too shady now for vegetables. It's just going to be my papaya spot now mostly. And maybe if I'm lucky, a few Soursop fruits. Well, yeah, papaya, Soursop, maybe the mango. Good chance the black sapote is going to do well. And the mulberry's got a fairly good chance too. It just doesn't want to die, that thing. That mulberry, no matter how much it gets strangled by Madeira vine. It just keeps hanging on. Okay, I'll just switch off for a moment. So I'm getting low on power. I just want to show you something out the front again. Well, I may as well stay on and just take a walk back with you. Yeah, there's a bit of fruit this time. It's not too bad. It's starting to pay me back now. Oh geez, I'm almost out of power though. Yep, and all these papayas, they're all going in the small pots and ripping them all out. That one's just sprouted into the ground. So that one can stay. That's going to be fruiting soon, so I'll cut that pot off and pile all that potting mix around the roots. Cut that some of that box away. Yeah, and let that stay, and yeah, remove the rest, and that'll be my new spot for my my new top quality strain, my new Red Dragon dwarf ties. There'll be 30 of them in there soon. In another few weeks I'll be planting them, and I'll sit them on my hot water system because they've got to be warm. It's apparently they need to be quite warm to sprout, and it's still they are ideally a tropical tree, more tropical than this area. So I'll sit the pots on top of my hot water system. That will work as a good heat bed. Sprout them, then get them out of here. Sit them out here to grow them as seedlings. Some more of the native silky oak and Moreton Bay fig. Beautiful big fig that can become what could grow into one day. Not in this yard though, hopefully. Maybe I'll give it to somebody. I'm so low on power, I'm maybe going to have to finish this video tomorrow. Recharge and finish this video. Yeah, I wanted to give you an update on how things are going at the front here, now that everything's been cleared by the contractors. Okay, I'll see how far we can go. Yes, I love that plant. It's quite nice, eh? Would like to be replanted and spread out one day. Yeah, it's so different in here now. Really nice sunny spot. You see, I've got a lot of these things. I'm thinking maybe I can sell them. These are more of these macarangas. I've weeded around these. I've tried to keep this a bit tame. Weeded around these and kept them alive. And perhaps I can sell them. I really should give it a go, actually. Might be worth something to someone. They'd be really good for agroforestry. Anyone doing any large agroforestry or reforestation projects, these are very useful plants. So yeah, leave a message if you see this and you're interested in these trees, and I might just give it a go on eBay actually, see if anyone's interested in them, because they're still very easy to transplant and mail to anybody. And what else? The Batanga. This is the Batanga. Neil from Tropical Fruit Growing. Oh, he's changed his name now, sorry Neil. It used to be Tropical Fruit Growing in Canberra, but now he's changed his name to Cold Climate Tropical Fruits or something like that. Anyway, he put me straight on the name of this. Delicious fruit. It's just grown wild. I know where it's come from. There's some neighbours who have a hedge of this plant. They've got a really nice front fence. It's a hedge. Works great, and the fruit is delicious. But anyway, it's grown wild and it's just grown here in the shade. This was a full shade area for 20 years, you know, or almost 20 years, 10, 15 years at least, full shade. But yeah, now this tree's getting sun. I only got about 5 fruit off it just before winter. It fruited for the first time, like within a few months of getting sunlight it fruited. And now it's gone well over winter. And now it's warmed up a bit. There's flowers all over it. So, and usually this is going to bear me a lot of fruit soon. And this tree, because it's just been here so long, it's so well established, and now that the situation's got better, again, it's just like a rainforest tree. been sitting tiny in the bottom on the floor of a rainforest, and a big tree is it's been there for 20, 30 years maybe, and a big tree falls and gives it light, and then they grow really quick. So this has kind of done something similar. It's been here for 10 years probably, just struggling, growing in the canopy, and now suddenly it's got an opportunity to take off, and it's just doing it. It's taken off. And they're not a big tree anyway, but that's going to really feed me well, that tree. It's going to give me a lot of fruit. And I just planted this, another Soursop. This is all I've planted here so far, and it survived the cold. It gets a bit too cold and windy here. Lost a few leaves, but now it's reshooting, coming back nicely. And in here, this is what I really want to show you. I'll do a separate video of this actually, but this is going to become a veggie garden, and it's a good size. This is going to be my first real veggie garden in years, and I mean real by like it gets real sunshine. So look at how clear it is in here. It's not too shady. It gets a few good hours of sunshine every day. Oh, maybe. Well, there's the sun out that way. I don't want to point straight out. It's very bright today. But yeah, it's a good sunny spot. I'm going to grow a lot of nice veggies here. I'll get the sun on the back so you can see better. But it's been very slow. I've put 40 hours into this, and again, a fit person could do it in one day, but it's taken me at least 40 hours preparing this, and there's still a long way to go. Well, a fair way, maybe another 20 hours or more. I still want to pull these things out. These are old pots from when it was a nursery, and there's roots growing into those pots. So yeah, it's not easy to get them out. It's taken hours and hours and hours. I've got some of them, see it's stacked up there. There's the ones I've already pulled out. And yeah, I want to chop that thing out, drag that soil back out of the way. There used to be black plastic. See that black plastic there used to be over on top of all that when it was a nursery. And the black plastic has been there for 20 years, and like there's roots on top of the black plastic because it's been there so long, and that's been very hard to pull that black plastic back, chop those roots out. That used to be a big Veggie Robusta there actually. It's just hollowed out from termites. They got chopped down about 8 years ago. Doesn't take long for the termites to get into it, does it? Yeah, and that's the umbrella trees. They have so many roots, those things. It's re-sprouting again, but I've been regularly chopping these, chopping those sprouts, putting a bit of Caro on it, so they will eventually die. And there's so many roots. There's a bit of good red soil there even actually. This is a sandy soil area, but someone must have brought some red soil in. But you can hardly dig that soil. There's so many roots in there. But I'm going to try and dig it a little bit. Break those sticks. You leave those sticks there, but just break it into the soil a few inches. And I don't have to dig too deep. And then I'll just put the sugarcane mulch on again. And yeah, raise it up a foot or so. Plant straight in the sugarcane mulch. And eventually over a year or two those roots will just rot out, and it shouldn't bother me at all. Okay, well it's flashing now. I'm just about to run out of power. But yeah, I'm going to put some of my papayas here too, my new papayas. Hopefully if I can clear that corner as well, I'll get about 5 papayas in. My new red dragon papayas up against the beds. And then a lot of nice veggies in here that's going to feed me really well. It's going to be a great garden, really great. And up against this edge, I use this spot to just get sunlight actually. It's one of the few spots where I can get some sun. I try and do a few exercises every day here. So I want to keep that area clear. But up against that fence I want to grow. I'm going to put some mesh up there. And right on that edge I'll grow some climbing things, climbing beans, stuff like that. But no climbing beans along there because there'll be papayas there. So it'll shade out. But lots of veggies in front of the papayas. Oh, I could cut off any moment. So thanks so much for watching, my friends. And I'll see you next time. I'll just give you a look out the back here if I can. Look how overgrown it is. It's going to be a big job to get in there. Maybe too much for me. Maybe too big a job. I might have to get a machine to help me with that. But yeah, that's where I want to plant my soursops and more papaya, hopefully this summer. Okay my friends, I'll cut it off now. Thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.